Hey, in this video I'm going to tell you about the pros and cons of living in Kansas City. And you're going to want to stick around until the end because the last con is something that people don't usually tell you about. So we're going to get into this right now. Hey, if you're new to this channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in Kansas City, the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, then subscribe below and hit the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the market in Kansas City. I'm Scott Kellenberger, and I get calls, texts, emails every week from people just like you that want to make their move to Kansas City, and I absolutely love it. Now, whether you're moving in 2 weeks or 20 weeks, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, and I'll help you make a smooth move to Kansas City. All my info is in the remarks section below. So, let's get into, first, the pros of moving to Kansas City. Great schools. In Kansas City, the public schools are highly rated on Great Schools and Niche.com throughout most of the metro area. The Blue Valley schools are extremely highly regarded, as are the Shawnee Mission schools and the Olathe schools on the Kansas side. The Piper schools in Kansas City, Kansas are also very good, and Sumner Academy in KCK is the highest rated school in the metro area according to US News school ratings. You also get high quality public schools on the Missouri side in Lee Summit and North Kansas City up north of the river. There are also some excellent private schools in the metro area. The private Catholic schools are top notch, and there are several to choose from. There are also other private Christian schools as well as private non-religious schools that are highly rated. So there are tons of great options in the Kansas City area when it comes to schools for your kids. Next pro on the list, the barbecue. Kansas City has the best barbecue in the world. Now, I'm sure there are many people in other great barbecue cities or areas that would dispute this. I admit I'm biased, having lived my entire life in Kansas City, but I have traveled and tried barbecue in several other states and cities. While there may be a barbecue restaurant or two in other states that can stack up with the best of Kansas City, I am completely confident in saying that no other place has the combined quantity and quality of barbecue restaurants that Kansas City does. There are quite literally 50 high-quality barbecue locations in Kansas City, all highly rated, all highly thought of, all absolutely awesome. And the best ones are as good or better than any barbecue you will eat anywhere in the world. Kansas City is the barbecue capital of the world. That is not disputable, and living here and enjoying the great barbecue is absolutely awesome. You could literally just pick a different restaurant every week and go an entire year of trying a new barbecue restaurant every week, and it's all going to be amazing. So, next up on the pros list is, this is a great sports city. So we've got the Kansas City Chiefs in the NFL, we've got the Kansas City Royals in Major League Baseball, we have the Sporting Kansas City soccer team, we have Mavericks Hockey, which is an independent hockey team. We also have the KC Current women's soccer team that just got a new facility and new stadium that's absolutely awesome. And we have local college sports, Kansas State Wildcats, the Kansas Jayhawks, the Missouri Tigers. Kansas City loves its pro and its college sports teams and high school sports as well. This city goes crazy over the Chiefs and the Royals. Tailgating before a Chiefs game is like a religious experience. It is something that you absolutely have to experience in your lifetime. And summer nights at Kauffman Stadium for the Royals are just incredible. It's just Americana right there. Sporting Kansas City soccer team has an amazing game day atmosphere, always a packed stadium. Whatever sport you enjoy, even if you aren't a big sports person, going out and then going to the games here in Kansas City is absolutely a wonderful experience. It's a blast. So, next up on our pros list, high quality attractions. Kansas City is an underrated city in terms of the attractions that we have. So, first up with attractions is the World War I Museum and Liberty Memorial. This is the National World War I Museum. It's the premier museum and memorial dedicated to the events of World War I and the memory of the lives lost. It is an excellent museum. It's one that everyone should visit in their lifetime. Any American, and every person, just period. The Liberty Memorial Tower that's right there with the museum is an iconic part of Kansas City's downtown. You can go all the way up to the top of the memorial and get just the best view of downtown that there is in Kansas City. The Union Station downtown is another iconic part of Kansas City's downtown and history. Union Station originally opened in 1914 and 2-3 decades ago was restored to its former glory after it had kind of fallen into disrepair. It is currently just absolutely beautiful. It's the main train station for passenger trains to and from Kansas City. It is home to Science City, which is an excellent place for kids to have fun and learn about science. There's an IMAX movie theater, live theater, shops, restaurants, all there at Union Station. It is absolutely beautiful and so much fun to visit. It is also the most popular photo destination in Kansas City because of how gorgeous it is. Wedding photos, family photos, anybody that wants to take a photo, you do it at Union Station because it's so phenomenal. The Country Club Plaza is another iconic place in Kansas City. It opened in 1923, and it was the first planned suburban shopping center that was built specifically to accommodate shoppers who were coming by car. This was the first one of its kind in the entire country. The architecture of the Country Club Plaza echoes the architecture of Seville, Spain. It is absolutely stunning. It is beautiful. Currently, it's filled with shops and restaurants, and it's the best place in Kansas City to walk around and window shop. And one of the coolest events of the year, every year on Thanksgiving, the plaza is lit up. They flip the switch and turn on the plaza lights, the holiday lights on all the buildings for the holiday season. And that is just a spectacular event every year on Thanksgiving to be at. And that time of the year, visiting the plaza to shop or to eat out and to walk around and look at the lights is just, it's stunning. So next pro on the list is entertainment. So beyond the professional sports that we have in Kansas City, we host a slew of great artists for concerts at the T-Mobile Center downtown, as well as outdoor venues like Children's Mercy Park or Arrowhead Stadium. They have big concerts there occasionally. The T-Mobile Center, though, it's a premier concert venue. It is also host to sporting events like the Big 12 basketball tournament every March. That downtown area around T-Mobile Center has been revitalized, has great restaurants and nightlife. It's just a really fun, cool area to go to and visit. Also downtown, we have the Kaufman Center for the Performing Arts, which is home to the Kansas City Symphony. It is a fantastic concert venue for classical music. They have tremendous performances throughout the year, and there are also really high-quality opera performances that you can view there and other arts. Here in Kansas City for entertainment, there is also an amazing theme park, Worlds of Fun. There's several great roller coasters and thrill rides, as well as tons and tons of fun rides for kids. Worlds of Fun is a tremendous theme park and a Kansas City treasure. Another awesome place to visit in Kansas City, right by the Country Club Plaza, is the Nelson Atkins Art Museum. This is a fantastic museum, tons of amazing artwork, and it's great for a day trip to spend some time in the museum looking at some of the amazing art that is collected there. And the grounds are also beautiful. It's a fantastic spot to go on a picnic and just spend some time outside walking around the grounds. So the Nelson Atkins Art Museum is definitely a fantastic spot in Kansas City as well. All right, next pro on the list is new airport. We have a new airport opening in early 2023 here. This is a long overdue new airport we're getting. It is going to be absolutely incredible when it opens in early 2023. It's going to make Kansas City an even bigger hub for flights all across the country. Because of our location, smack in the middle of the continental United States, you can fly anywhere in the country in 3 hours or less. So if you need to travel for work or to visit family, or just for vacations and to see the rest of this great country, Kansas City is an elite city to live in and to be able to easily travel around the country. And it's going to be even more convenient and easy with the new airport starting in early 2023. All right, our last pro on the list is that in Kansas City, you get to experience all 4 seasons. You truly get to experience all 4 seasons of weather here in Kansas City. Though my wife complains that spring and fall only last a day each. She's exaggerating, truly. In the winter months of Kansas City, it's going to be cold. You're going to get multiple snows spread out through December, January, February. But when it does snow, it usually doesn't stick around for long because it warms up again a day or 2 or 3 later and everything melts. So while there are certainly some winters here that are worse than others, it's usually not too unbearably cold. You get to experience playing in the snow, sledding, building snowmen, snowball fights, the warmth of a fire in your home. And maybe it's just me, but the hot coffee, the hot tea, or the hot chocolate tastes so much better when it's cold outside. And I love that about winter. So in the spring here in Kansas City, we get a lot of rain and we get some beautiful weather, especially as the temperatures get warmer and warmer throughout spring. Once you get to May, the weather is just perfect. Everything in the spring begins to turn green and beautiful again. Everything's coming back to life. Seeing nature come back to life is so amazing. And the summers here in Kansas City, you're gonna get hot and you're gonna get humid. This is not dry heat. You are going to get some humidity here in Kansas City, but similar to winter, it is usually not unbearable heat. The worst stretches last for a few days before there's a reprieve. Generally, it is fantastic weather in the summer to get to go outside, to spend time at the pool, to make a getaway to the lake. This is also a great time of the year to get out to Worlds of Fun or to Kauffman Stadium. The falls in Kansas City, my favorite time of the year. I love falls in Kansas City. They are spectacular. The temperatures cool off a little bit. It's perfect weather for spending time outdoors, playing in the yard, being out on your deck or your patio, throwing a football around, going on a walk, going on a bike ride, roasting marshmallows over a fire. Those things, Kansas City in the fall, amazing. The leaves on the trees begin to turn colors, it's just beautiful. Kansas City is stunning this time of the year, leading up to the holidays. So, all 4 seasons in Kansas City it's wonderful. It's awesome to get to experience that. Okay, that wraps up our pros. We are going to now move on to the negative side, the cons of moving to Kansas City. So the first con I want to talk about, this is actually something I talked about as a pro. I'll explain why. The con is schools. So earlier I discussed how there are a lot of great schools throughout the Kansas City metro area, both public and private, but there are a couple areas of Kansas City, Missouri, Kansas City, Kansas, where the schools are not so great. The KCMO school district actually lost its accreditation a few years ago with the Missouri State Board of Education, just because the quality wasn't there. But it has made strides. It did become fully accredited again at the beginning of 2022, which is awesome. I'm so glad to see that. I hope they continue to improve. But for now, it's still not a highly regarded school district. There are a good number of people who do live in Kansas City, Missouri or Kansas City, Kansas who send their children to a private school if they have the means to do so, or get them into a charter school. So that is a con to Kansas City, is some of those schools in some areas are not great, even though overall in the metro area the schools are excellent. All right, next con is the weather. So while it is great that you get to experience all 4 seasons, the weather can be a bit of a con as well. One thing is it can be pretty unpredictable. You can go one day where it's snowing and the next day it could be 60 degrees outside. So there's just some unpredictability there. There's some drastic changes at different times of the year from one day to the next that is not the greatest. I don't enjoy that very much. But there are also periods of time where it is fairly predictable and fairly stable throughout the year. Now, the other thing with the changing seasons, the downside to the changing seasons is allergies. There's going to be different pollens in the air, different times of the year with the different plants and trees and all this stuff. And allergies can really be an issue for some people. I personally struggle with allergies. I get really bad allergy problems at certain times of the year where I'm just really congested or runny nose or itchy eyes, and that is not fun. So for some people, that is a big con to Kansas City, is that at different times of the year you're going to struggle with allergies potentially. So next con on the list is a lack of outdoor activities. Now, obviously, you can do things outdoors, and there are things to do outdoors in Kansas City, but we don't have the big things. You know, we don't have any mountains, we don't have an ocean, and we don't really have any nice big lakes that are right here in the city or right next to the city. To really get any of that stuff, you're gonna have to hop over to that new airport, and you're gonna have to fly to the coasts, or fly to Colorado, or take a road trip there if you want that stuff. You can get some of that stuff somewhat close by. If you go 2 to 3 hours to the west, you can get the Flint Hills of Kansas, which are absolutely beautiful. They're not mountains, but they are beautiful, hilly areas. Or you can go to the Ozark Mountains in Missouri, just go east, southeast, 2 to 3 hours, and you get the Ozark Mountains, which are also really beautiful, hiking, good place to get out in nature. Or if you want a Lake of the Ozarks is about 3 hours away, Table Rock's about 3 to 4 hours away. Those are large lakes that a lot of people in Kansas City will take a weekend trip to go boating or fishing and enjoy that outdoor element. So even though we don't have that stuff right here in Kansas City, most of it you can get if you're willing to just travel a little bit, do some weekend trips. So next con on the list is a lack of good public transportation. In Kansas City, the public transportation is pretty much non-existent. There are some bus systems that you can use, but for the most part, you need to drive everywhere. The buses don't really connect the entire metro area. They're not always the easiest to use or to know or to count on. So you can utilize the bus systems to get around in small parts or certain parts, But for the vast majority of the people, it's not going to be an effective or efficient way to get around. So for someone like me who grew up in Kansas City, this is just the way of life. It's not that big of a deal. I understand for some people this could be a drawback that there's not very good public transportation. And our last con, one that doesn't get talked about a lot, is that Kansas City is really spread out. Kansas City is not very dense. Our population is about 2.2 million, a little more than 2.2 million. The downtown is not super heavily populated. There are a lot of suburbs. It's a very suburban city. So, and it's spread out. So not a lot of people, big area. To get from the far north suburbs down to the far south suburbs is like a 45-minute drive if the traffic is really good, which sometimes it's not. So it's gonna take longer. Or from east to west, the eastern suburbs to the western suburbs. It's about a 45-minute drive with good traffic. Again, probably not always gonna get good traffic. So it's very spread out, kind of a big area for the amount of people that live here in Kansas City. And so what that means is that choosing what part of the city you're going to live in is very important. You're going to want to factor in where you're going to be working, where your family maybe lives if you have family in town, or where your friends are, or what's your lifestyle? What do you like to do? What activities are important to you? And factor all that in to figure out, okay, this area would be good for you to live in, or this area of the city would be good. Kind of determining that based on your personal life and preferences and lifestyle is really, really important. You can't just move anywhere in the city and have it work out great, right? Some thought needs to go into this, and that's where somebody like me comes in, helping you move to Kansas City. I can talk over those things with you, and we can figure out the best place for you to live within the city. So, all right, that wraps up our cons. That wraps up this video. Thank you for watching to the end of the video. Please hit the like button, subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications, and watch out for more videos about Kansas City and the real estate market in Kansas City.